Yes, they just seem to be a bit students.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Chancellor, the Honourable John Merkerson, will now address us.
Your Excellency, Mr. Murray McLean, OAM, Australian High Commissioner to Singapore, Griffith, Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Bill Lovegrove, Professor Peter Brosnan, Dean of the Faculty of Commerce and Management at Griffith University, staff and students of the university, including, of course, the graduates, alumni members, many distinguished guests and welcome visitors today. It's my pleasure as Chancellor to extend this welcome to Griffith University's inaugural graduation ceremony in Singapore. Graduation ceremonies are happy occasions, but at the same time serious. We have the achievements of the individual students to acknowledge and celebrate, and we are conscious of an underlying strong sense of university tradition. The pride of the graduates' families and friends is reflected in the pleasure we all feel and the graduates' awareness of their capabilities they have demonstrated will encourage them in life's further challenges. The knowledge that difficult goals are achievable will add a dimension to the skills they have acquired. It's a pleasure to welcome His Excellency Mr. Murray McLean, Australia's High Commissioner to Singapore. He's our guest speaker for this occasion, and we shall hear from him later in our proceedings when there will be a fuller introduction. As our graduates prepare to move into a new phase of their lives, it's appropriate that we reflect on what they have achieved, the challenges that lie before them, and how Griffith University has helped and can continue to help. For students, travel to new countries is exciting, but it can also be daunting. They don't have the immediate support of family and friends, and many aspects of daily routine may be new and unfamiliar. They have to adapt to a new culture and lifestyle, and possibly even to a language which is not their mother tongue. Yet our graduates today have successfully made the transition to university study in a new country and different culture. Griffith University has helped them to develop the knowledge and skills necessary for their careers. However, they deserve much credit for their diligence and application to study. In the global world, interpersonal skills, flexibility, and the ability to adapt to different cultures and environments are as important as core knowledge. World society is now far more interactive and interdependent than ever before. Within our Asia-Pacific region, there has been a commitment to collaboration and cooperation that bodes well for the future. The interchange of students and staff between universities and colleges and the sharing of resources and programs plays an important part in strengthening international links and cooperation. Griffith University has a deserved reputation as a leading teaching and research institution. It takes pride in its commitment to the internationalisation of education and lends its resources and expertise in a growing range of international activities. Griffith hosts the largest international student body of any university in its home state of Queensland and the 7th largest in Australia. Attracting international students to its 6 southeast Queensland campuses is but one aspect of the university's international undertaking. Griffith aims to develop in its Australian students the skills and knowledge to succeed in a globalised world, and it has set itself the task of increasing the numbers of its domestic students who study other languages and cultures and undertake a part of their studies at overseas institutions. In 1998, 85 of our Australian students took part in exchange programs in more than 30 overseas universities and colleges. In addition to the courses it offers in other countries via distant education mode, Griffith has collaborated with international counterparts in jointly offering degrees. This form of collaborative activity has great potential for the internationalisation of education, and Griffith is keen to identify further opportunities. To our graduates, let me say you have enriched our community greatly during the time you have spent amongst us. In your interaction with staff and students, you've contributed a great deal to the character and future directions of the university. You have learnt about us while we have learnt from you. Your association with the university has helped Griffith to strengthen its international links, and this benefit will be ongoing. People will rightly judge a university by the quality of its graduates, and I have every confidence that you will display the personal and professional qualities that will bring credit to both yourselves and to Griffith University. We hope very much that your association with Griffith University will continue beyond your student years. As you follow your career pathways, we hope that you will keep in touch with the university through the Alumni Association and let us know how we can help you or you can help us. On behalf of the university, I offer my sincere congratulations and best wishes for a successful future as you continue with your lives and take up the challenges that lie before you. Thank you. I now call on Professor Peter Brosnan, Dean of the Faculty of Commerce and Management, to present graduates who are to receive their awards at this ceremony.
Chancellor, I present two graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Arts in Communication taken in the Faculty of Arts. Han Shu Hui. Anita Nicole Pereira. Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been granted the Master of Arts in Media Production taken in the Faculty of Arts. Lim Hui Lim. Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been granted the Bachelor of Arts in Psychology taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Sharma Narayana. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Business taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Chen Xin Chung. Chin Chu Fern. Kay Sing An. Lao Wan Jin. Vignesh Ramanathan. Joanne Wee Kim Kim. Wong Tok Mak. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Commerce taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Michelle Sher. Hyung Man Chung. Nelson Jin Su Yu. Terence Chong Kin Lung. Simon Juka Su. Caroline Chua Su Ting. Pham Xiao Yi. Zeus Zhang Sun Gu. Lai Boon Chung. Lai Yuen Yi. Lam Hui Kwang. Lee Eun Yoon. Alvin Lee Kwong Wai. Lo B. King. Jenny Sung. To Lee Lee. Wong Lai Si. Woon Soon Pei. Yap Kin Wah. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Hotel Management taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Mohammed Yazid Abdullah. Wen Chen. Deng Yu Qing. Denise Han Ping Ping. Lee Sing Mai. Chancellor, I present a graduate who's been granted who has been granted the Graduate Certificate in Information Systems taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Tommy Hadi Vijaya. Chancellor, I present two graduates who've been granted the Master of Commerce in Accounting and Finance taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Hung Zer Hao. Tan Ti Ching. Chancellor, I present a graduate who's been granted the Master of Hospitality Management taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Neo Hui Ni. Chancellor, I present two graduates who've been granted the Master of Information Systems taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. Pani Suapang. Vijaya. Chancellor, I present a graduate who's been granted the Bachelor of Education in Special Education, taken in the Faculty of Education, Chia Min Lee. Chancellor, I present two graduates who've been granted the Bachelor of Information Technology, taken in the Faculty of Information and Communication Technology, Karthikeyan Kandavalu. Lo Han Lung. Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been granted the Master of Nursing, taken in the Faculty of Nursing and Health, Lai Yok Fung. Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been granted the Master of Business Administration, taken in the Graduate School of Management, Wing Shin Jern. Chancellor, I present two graduates who have been granted the Master of Business Administration, International, taken in the Graduate School of Management, Wanita Hussain. Angeline Sim Lee Ing. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been granted the Master of Technology Management, taken in the Graduate School of Management, Fang Kwai Fong. Mohammed Iqbal bin Karam Din. Lo Tong Ching. Ong Sui Seung. Hanaporn Sangjang. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Visual Arts in Interior Design, taken at the Queensland College of Art. Lo Sei Kun. To Mei Hua. Tong Xiu Ping. Wong King Kiang. Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been granted the Bachelor of Music, taken at the Queensland Conservatorium, Julie Tan Hui Lee. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Julie Tan, Bachelor of Music, LaSalle College, Griffith University, will now perform 3 sketches composed by Frank Bridge on piano.
I now call on the Acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Bill Lovegrove, to introduce the guest speaker.
Chancellor, our guest speaker, His Excellency Mr Murray McLean, is the Australian High Commissioner to Singapore. Mr McLean is the Senior Career Officer of the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and has been the Australian High Commissioner to Singapore since March 1997. He has maintained a consistent focus on Asia and Asia-Pacific issues, especially on China and policy-related matters, and prior to his current position was responsible for East Asia within the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Mr McLean studied Mandarin at the University of Hong Kong from 1971 to 1973 and has held diplomatic postings to Hong Kong, Washington and China. He was Australia's Consul General in Shanghai from 1987 to 1992. In 1991, Mr McLean was awarded the Order of Australia Medal for his services to international relations and as Australia's Consul General in Shanghai. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to call upon His Excellency Mr Murray McLean to deliver this afternoon's occasional address.
Chancellor the Honourable John McCrossan, AC, Vice-Chancellor Professor Bill Lovegrove, other distinguished guests, new graduates, their families and friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honoured this afternoon to be invited to attend the inaugural graduation ceremony held by Griffith University here in Singapore, and to be able to offer my congratulations to all the new graduates, both personally and on behalf of the Australian High Commission here in Singapore. I'm honoured also for a number of other reasons. First, an occasion such as this is indeed a very special one for all concerned, as it climaxes years of hard work and commitment to excellence by all the new graduates here today. For many of you, it is the climax of your formal study and the beginning of your individual career. For some others of you, it marks a special point of further development of working career that already has a strong foundation of experience. Whatever its significance to each one of you, it is both an honour and a great pleasure to be able to share this occasion with you and your families and friends. Secondly, Griffith University is a very attractive university. It is the envy of many others in Australia. It has 6 campuses strategically located near Queensland's famous Gold Coast resort. I'm sure none of you went there purely for the sunshine and the beach. For in fact, Griffith is one of Australia's most forward-thinking educational institutions with a strong reputation for holding to high standards and academic quality. Like an increasing number of universities in Australia, Griffith University, right from the very first years following its inception in 1971, has had a very firmly directed international focus, a focus not least on the countries of Asia, including, of course, on Singapore. The extensive links which Griffith has developed with Southeast Asia are some of the strongest which any Australian institution has. They are typical of the close ties which Australian educational institutions have in a number of other countries, with a number of countries. They are obviously of benefit to current and future students, but also, importantly, they benefit Australia's growing engagement with Asia. The emphasis on welcoming students from all over the world is particularly important at a time when the eyes of the world are once again particularly focused on the countries of this, our common region. We are facing major challenges. But in my experience, challenges bring out the best in nations, their institutions and their people. In this regard, I want to say today very clearly that Australia's strong and constructive contribution to and involvement with this region, which goes back many decades, will remain as a long-term fundamental strand in our foreign policy. This has again been clearly underlined over the past 2 months by the response not only by the Australian government but of Australians in general to the tragic events that unfolded in East Timor following the United Nations-sponsored ballot there. It has once again shown the extent to which Australians open up their hearts when humanitarian crises occur. It also shows that Australia, as a geographical part of this region, has certainly not turned its back on this region just because in the past 2 years times have been troubled for some countries, or because there has been or may be perceived to be some negative overflow of these political and economic problems to affect Australia. Put very directly, the government retains a very firm commitment to our strong links with the Asia region, to the peace and stability of the region, both economic and political and economic, are vitally important to our nation's future and indeed to our very survival. Let me outline a few of the facts which speak for themselves. Australia's relations with the countries of East Asia and more broadly the Asia-Pacific region are long-standing. These have emerged from a practical and constructive commitment to relations with individual countries and a broader commitment to the development of multilateral relationships and mechanisms that underpin the region's stability and security. At the broad regional level, Australia was among the first countries to commit itself to a practical contribution to the IMF rescue packages for the 3 major casualties of the economic crisis: Thailand, Korea and Indonesia. Consistent with our view that the key to the region's recovery lies in strengthening financial and other institutions, to pushing ahead with economic reform and to continued trade and liberalisation of that trade, Australia has also been providing training to economic and trade officials from regional central departments of trade and finance in policies for regulation and management of financial services. Australia is also providing practical assistance to individual countries to alleviate the negative social impact of the crisis. While our commitment to restoring peace and security in East Timor through the international force, Interfet, is the most recent and the most significant example of our engagement with and contribution to the broad interests of the region in the past few years, the other examples I have just mentioned are just a few of the many measures, both financial and political, by which Australia continues to demonstrate its ongoing commitment to the region. In sum, our commitment to the region is a deep and abiding one, and let me assure you that Australia is an all-weather friend and not a fair-weather friend of Asia. This leads me to a third reason why I'm honoured to be here today. This is because, without question, Australia and Singapore are natural partners. There is an easy affinity between Australians and Singaporeans, which supports our good relations in many areas. This may stem in part from similarities in our education, legal and commercial systems, but it arises especially from the increasing number of people-to-people links, ranging across the official, the commercial and many other private spheres, built up, indeed, over many decades. Earlier this year, I had the privilege to accompany your Prime Minister, Goh Chok Tong, on a very successful visit to Australia. His visit was a great success, underlying the breadth and strength of our relationship, one that is a very important strand. One of those very important strands in that relationship is that in education. Education involves some of the closest links between Australia and Singapore. These links go back more than 40 years, when Singaporeans and Malaysians went to Australia under the Colombo Plan. And today there are approximately 70,000 graduates of Australian tertiary institutions here in Singapore. And latest figures show that there are currently well over 15,000 Singaporean students enrolled at Australian institutions, that is tertiary institutions, representing a growth of some 15% over the previous year. Indeed, Singaporeans now form the largest group of foreign tertiary level students in Australia, closely followed by Malaysians and then those from Hong Kong. Together, they make up some 60% of the total foreign student population of our universities. It's therefore with great pride that we in Australia have so many good friends in Singapore, throughout government, industry, business, academic and cultural circles who've undertaken their education in Australia. Some of you will be aware that a number of senior regional leaders received their university education in Australia. These alumni include your former President, Ong Teng Chong, one of your Deputy Prime Ministers, Dr Tony Tan, and other Ministers of State, the Ministers of Cabinet and State, Yeo Chow Tong, Lee Boon Yang, Ma Bao Tan, Mr Peter Chen and Mr David Lim. Look amongst yourselves and you'll see in perhaps 20 to 30 years' time some of you also as ministers in Singapore. There is no question that people-to-people contacts across the board in every sector of our common endeavours deepen mutual understanding, and this is of vital importance for our mutual future prosperity as citizens of countries having the fortune to be part of this region. Many Australians living and working in Asia have been deeply committed to growing in our own understanding and knowledge of Asia for decades. For them, but also for their children and for many young Australians, the same age as many of you here today, Asia is, and rightly so, a natural part of their lives, their daily lives, and particularly their future. So it is people like you, the new graduates here today, along with Australian young people of my own children's generation, some of whom have studied in Asia or learnt the languages of Asia, who are our future. It is to you that we look to ensure prosperity for our respective countries and for our common region into the 21st century. And I'm very confident that the future, our future, is in the best of hands. Let me state clearly that our door remains wide open for tourists, students and people doing business in Australia. They can be confident that Australia remains a very safe and welcoming environment to undertake quality education courses. Once again, I want to congratulate all the new graduates here today on your personal achievements. These achievements will not only contribute to your own prosperity and those of your families, but will also contribute to that of your country and to this region, which we share in the 21st century. Finally, I wish you every success in your future or continuing careers. Thank you.
Chancellor, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I'm extremely pleased to have the opportunity this afternoon to thank His Excellency Mr Murray McLean for his challenging address. Before that, I would like to offer to you, the graduates, and to your families and friends, my own congratulations for the contributions you've each made to the achievements being celebrated today. I hope that you, as graduates of Griffith, are aware of the extent to which Griffith is known as a university heavily committed to innovation, internationalisation and interdisciplinarity. Mr McLean has emphasised today some of our contributions to internationalisation, and I'm very pleased that he did that because obviously it's an important theme. I trust that as a result of your time at Griffith, you have come to understand and appreciate the Australian culture much more than you may once have. I hope especially as well that you have taught your fellow Australian students much more about your culture and traditions and increased our appreciation of those. I think it is through personal links of the sort that you've made that you and the young people of Australia will be able to achieve the goals and overcome the issues raised by His Excellency Mr Murray McLean. Having said that, I would like now to ask you to join with me in thanking Mr McLean.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony has now concluded. On behalf of Griffith University, thank you for joining us on this auspicious occasion. And on behalf of the alumni from Brisbane, congratulations to all our graduates. Please also be reminded that the alumni's graduation dinner tonight starts at 7 at the Pandan Room. Tickets are still available. May I now invite you to join us for refreshments. Guests who wish to have alcoholic beverages may purchase them from the bar, which has been set up in the refreshment area. Please rise when the music begins and remain standing until the procession of graduates and DS party have left the hall. Thank you.
Okay, more. Okay, more small. Wilson, we make a kind of Wilson. Make a kind of Wilson. Okay. Come. Wilson. What's now here? Okay, get your motorboard ready. I say 1, 2, 3, throw. Okay. You can see it. Okay, one more time. Okay, get ready. Ready? Stand by. 1, 2, 3, throw.
Because I was sitting there yesterday.